So should you learn Vim? That's the question, isn't it? If you were to ask me, Dave, should I learn this? Like, I don't really know how to use a text editor that well. I've maybe messed around with Notepad++ or something, or if I'm editing code, I'm in VS Code, or if I'm on a machine, I'm using like Nano or something. But I've thought to myself, like, maybe I should really learn Vim. Well, my answer to you is yes, I use Vim and I love it. But if you were to ask me, hey, Dave, should I learn Emacs? I'd be like, yeah, sure. Like, you should learn whatever you want to learn. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about like a text editor. Okay. Like, truly, it's just a text editor. I love Vim. I think it's incredible and it works with the way that my mind works. But it's just a text editor. So, like, learn whatever you want to use. All right. I think Vim's a great editor. But at the end of the day, the best text editor is the one that you know how to use. And if you want to know how to use something, you got to learn it. So a lot of people have asked me though, like, Dave, why do you use Vim? And maybe this can help you if you're kind of on the fence about switching to something or trying to learn a text editor in general. And the answer is it's because it's what was available. I had originally learned, this was like 2007, 2008. I had encountered Emacs and I quickly realized, I was like, this is just not for me. I don't like it. There's too many keyboard shortcuts in ways that doesn't totally vibe with my brain. So I was a Nano guy. If I was SSH in a machine, I was editing files with Nano. Love Nano. It's great. It gets the job done. It's a text editor. But I remember I hit a point where I wanted something more. I wanted something more customizable, and I wanted to be able to jump around. I had seen other people using the terminal and editing files, and my God, when people are good at VI or Vim, they just fly around. It looks incredible. They make it seem so fast. And at this point, like I said, this would have been 2008, 2009 probably. I had already learned to type on the Dvorak keyboard layout, so that was something else that I decided to do. And my goal with that was, if I'm going to get into software, if I'm going to get into computers, I want to take care of myself in the long run. So, I'd done some research and there was some stuff that said like Dvorak is better long-term to avoid things like arthritis. I don't know if that's true. I also just wanted to do the challenge of learning Dvorak, so that was kind of why I did it. But the point is, I was willing to put the time and effort in to learn something that I thought would be useful in the future. So learning a text editor would be the next logical step, right? I learned how to type. Now I should learn to use a good program I can type in. So the thing I kind of just landed on was Vim. And I remember looking things up about it and being blown away at first. Classic. I opened up Vim just like everyone does for the first time and didn't know how to exit it. Like, I had to look up how to exit Vim. It's kind of a meme at this point, but it's also a rite of passage. Like, truly it is. So yeah, I decided to learn how to use this thing. I remember looking it up, and one of the things that really stuck out to me was the different modes. And I really liked that. Like an insert mode, a sort of navigation, or when you hit escape, like whatever the normal mode is, being able to like jump around the page and do modifications on lines and text that was already there, and then being able to press something like go into insert mode, and now I'm just typing. Like I am just in type mode. So I have two different modes. I have like type, and then I hit escape, and it's like, okay, now I can analyze what I have in front of me, and I can make big sweeping like macro changes, or I can get in there with like a little microscope, make micro changes. I can have like the little needle and make tiny little character by character changes, or I can grab a whole block of code and just move it from here to there. Like I can do all that stuff. So the different modes just sort of clicked with my brain, and I thought it was fantastic. So yeah, if you were looking for a video on like how to use Vim, that is not this video. If you're on the fence about trying to learn something, I would say go for it. There are other good editors out there. Feel free to do whatever one makes sense to you. I know a lot of people kind of work in the GUI. They work on like an actual interface. So something like, VS Code or whatever else people use. I don't even know, honestly. That makes sense for them. For me, everything I do is in the terminal, so Vim literally makes sense for me. Documentation, Vim. If I'm taking my own personal notes, Vim. If I'm working on my resume, Vim. And that might be confusing at first, but my resume is in Markdown. I render it to HTML, and then I render that to PDF, and I can send it out. It's way easier for me to manage just plain text files. They're easy to ship around. They're easy to put in Git repos. I just love doing it that way. So yeah, if you're on the fence about learning it, I would say learn it, because at the end of the day, your text editor is the thing you are going to do to interface with any code that you write. So you should get good at it. You'll notice that this is like something I repeat a lot on my channel, but this is important. Like if you're going to work on a computer, you should be good at all of the things between you and the work you want to get done. Like, here's you, here's the work you want to get done. You should get good at everything in between this. So you should learn how to type, whatever works for you, but you should learn how to type and get pretty good at it. I learned the Dvorak keyboard layout. I think I was hitting in my prime like 115, 120 words per minute. That was good enough for me. All right. When you're coding, you're not really typing that fast. You're putting brackets in, you're thinking more. The thinking is more important. Learn how to type, pick a good editor, and then you can type what's on your brain, format and move code, and you can narrow that gap between where you are and what the computer is doing. The smaller you get that gap, the more work you can get done, and the faster you can be and the more efficient you can be. That's the goal. That's the idea. All these tools are in front of you. This is why I learned how to do Bash. Bash is my interface between me and the computer. I better be good at it, okay? So that's my recurring theme here, and that's my lesson to you guys. If you want to learn any sort of editor, go for it. I like Vim. I think it's great. Research them up, learn about them, learn more than one. Don't just stop at the first one you try. So yeah, that's my message to you.